Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday morning. Welcome to another edition of I Could Be Wrong. Good to see you, bro.
You too, man. Hope
Hopefully
you
you
had a
had
good
a
week.
I had a pretty good week. I can't complain. It wasn't as stressful as last week, but
That's good.
thankfully it's over and I got a break. So, hopefully same for you. Hopefully you had a good week.
Yeah, definitely. Pretty good.
Uh, Glad to
Long,
hear it.
sometimes not enough days in the week.
I think that's always the case, unfortunately. All right. Well, the good thing is we always find some time to talk about football. Week four
Yes.
has kicked off. The Thursday game was not so exciting and then got really exciting with Seattle winning on a last second field goal. Cardinals second last second loss on a field goal in 4 days, 5 days. So heartbreaker for those fans in the desert once again. But for us, being 49ers fans, we're glad that one of them lost. So that's good.
Yeah.
All right, so let's jump right into our topics this week. We won't spend any time really talking about the Seahawks and Cardinals. We all know what happened. Basically, what we predicted was going to happen happened. Um, so
You predicted the
uh,
correct score even.
I did. I wish I would have bet on it on a sports book somewhere. I would have won some money probably, but hey, you win some, you lose some. All right, so let's start off with some fantasy boomers for this week. Give us a fantasy boomer, and then we'll talk about maybe somebody that's going to bust. Kick us off for week four with some fantasy topics.
All right. So you got a really bad defense in the Saints going against a really good offense in the Bills. That makes for a recipe for at least one fantasy boomer. And since I have James Cook in almost every league, I'm going to go with James Cook booming today against a just really bad Saints defense. You could pick your poison, honestly. You could go with Josh Allen. You could go with Kincaid, I believe, could have a big game
Yeah.
here. That's how bad the Saints defense is this season. Um, so I'm gonna go with James
Okay.
Cook though.
All right.
Put me down for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns
I like it. I like it. James Cook, he's been on a roll. He's been off to a great start
so
to
far.
start the season. So I can imagine that he continues that role in week four. Buffalo's favored big. I think they're favored by 15 and a half points currently. The line will probably move a little bit overnight, but we'll see. But
Yeah,
I could definitely see James Cook having a big day. And we
they
may
have extra
revisit.
rest too.
They do, because they played, what was it, on Thursday,
Yeah.
previous week?
Yep.
Yeah, so it's like a mini bye week for them. So that's nice. Um, should obviously benefit Buffalo quite a bit. I think they're playing at home as well. Um, so I like it. And on that note, we may hear James Cook's name a little later in a podcast. So, all
All
right,
right.
give us a fantasy buster.
Let me throw out one more boomer real quick.
Okay, go ahead. My bad.
George Pickens versus the Packers. Emotions are high. I don't think that's the main reason why. He's going to have more opportunities. I believe there's going to be a high volume of targets due to the fact that I think the Cowboys will be playing from behind in this game. And so I'm going to go with George Pickens also booming.
Okay. All right. I like it. I think that's a good possibility. One thing I'll say, I mean, obviously, if you look at it on paper, Dallas most likely will be playing from behind. But there is a chance that Green Bay will be missing three starting offensive linemen, which could play a big
Ooh.
factor in the game. So, but assuming that the Packers are healthy, I agree with you. I think Dallas will be playing from behind. George Pickens should get a ton of targets. So I could definitely see that one be booming as well.
Yeah.
All right, so I
Busters.
jumped the gun earlier. Now let's go ahead and move on to the fantasy busters.
Now, yeah, I got two of these guys too. Travis Etienne, the Jaguars,
Okay.
going against the 49ers. We don't know what we're going to have without Bosa, but we have a solid run defense. Warner loves to plug the holes, and our D line has been pretty solid against the run so far this year. We we only allowed teams to score more than 20 points more than once in the 3 games we played, and I just think that we're primed to shut down their receivers, focus on their run game, and you got ATN having a bad game.
Okay.
Jameer
I
Gibbs. I
Jameer
mean, just
Gibbs.
throw I'll
Okay.
throw them both out. Dude, Cleveland's
Okay.
defense is elite.
They are very good.
They're
I will.
they're
I will
they're an
not.
elite
I will not
defense.
argue that. Yeah.
So if you're gonna take a flyer on someone to bust, I'm gonna take them against an elite defense, and I
Yeah.
think Jameer Gibbs is in for a tough day today.
Okay.
Montgomery will probably have a better day, honestly.
All right. I could see it. I could see it. Like you said, Cleveland's defense is elite. I'm gonna hold. I'm gonna reserve my thoughts on Etienne until we preview the 49ers game. I will say this though. I hope that he's a fantasy bust on Sunday for sure.
Yeah,
And we'll talk about it more when we preview the game. But you called out some good points. I have some other stats I wanted to. I think it's going to be a key to the game as well. So we'll talk about it a little more. But as far as the other one, Gibbs, I think anytime you're playing against an elite defense, there's always a chance, fantasy wise, that your guy's going to bust. And obviously, again, when we talk about bust, we don't mean that he might get 0 points. I think he's going to get some points, right? But it's not going to be anywhere near what he's probably projected to get. And I could definitely see that happen against Cleveland. They've shut down pretty much everybody they played. Baltimore, they made them look very pedestrian. Uh, Green Bay last week, same thing. Obviously, then their defense came through at the end as well with the block kick. So I can definitely see that one. And again, we'll talk about Etienne a little more later on as we get into our program. So there you have it. Those are your fantasy boomers and busters. If you have those guys on your roster, you may want to consider starting or sitting them, depending on how much you trust Justin's knowledge. And don't forget, the name of the show is I Could Be Wrong. So,
definitely.
um, quite a few games with some meaning this week in week 4. Obviously, I think the one that you mentioned earlier with emotion, a lot of emotion, is the Cowboys Green Bay game. I don't like either one of those teams. It's a Sunday night game. I think everybody in the world has talked about it. On paper, it looks like Green Bay's going to stomp them, but you never know. So we won't spend a ton of
NFL.
time previewing that one. Uh, what I would love to see is the game end on a tie where neither team wins, and it's as a result of Micah Parsons sacking Dak Prescott with a chance to win the game, but he doesn't.
That would
So
be hilarious.
that's what I would love to see. So let's move on to some other games that probably are going to have some impact as far as standings moving forward. And then, of course, we'll talk about the 49ers. Let's start with the LA Rams and the Indianapolis Colts. Obviously, Colts still 3-0, have looked really good. The Rams are 2-1 with that heartbreaking loss against the Eagles last week, where they had basically the game in the bag. Rams have the number 5 offense and the number 5 defense total when you go off yards allowed in the NFL right now. Colts number 2 offense and number 7 defense. So it's really two good teams on both sides of the ball going against each other. I'll turn it over to you. What are some of the things you're looking for, and what do you expect in this game?
I think it's going to be a great game. I I like the running backs in the game. Kyron Williams is a beast. Jonathan Taylor's a beast. You got a veteran quarter. I guess they're both veterans now. Daniel Jones has been in the
Yeah.
league a good while. He just
Yep.
hasn't found success until now. And so right now, both quarterbacks are playing at a good high level. They're playing efficient football. Things have been clean for both teams. Not a lot of penalties on the Colts side, especially not with just one punt. So
Yeah.
um, I'm going to give the edge though to the Colts, and I'm going to take
Okay.
them to win the game 27-24, give the Rams their second straight loss,
Okay.
and I just like their efficiency. They've done a really good job at managing the game, making sure Daniel Jones, well, I guess Daniel Jones has done a good job of making sure he's not making mistakes.
Yep.
And it just so far they haven't given me a reason to believe that a team like the Rams could beat them.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of the points you said. I think Indy has played very efficiently. Daniel Jones actually has a 71.6% completion percentage right now, which is off the charts. You're right. 6 total touchdowns, 3 passing, 3 rushing, 0 turnovers, no interceptions, no fumbles. which has always been the knock on Daniel Jones as he gives the ball to the other team, right? JT, we talked about it. I think, what was it, Wednesday? Looks like the JT of old. He's averaging 112 yards a game right now, 4 touchdowns, also 0 turnovers. So again, obviously, efficiency protecting the ball has been the biggest thing for them. No punts, which is essentially a turnover. You're giving it back to the other team. They've
Right.
avoided that as well, and it's obviously led to their 3-0 start. Rams, Stafford, they played pretty clean. He's got 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's about 66% completion, so about two-thirds. So not terrible, but not where Daniel Jones is, which is surprising. Kyron Williams, he's ninth in the league in rushing yards. The surprise with him is he only has 1 touchdown on the year rushing.
Yeah.
Last year he seemed to get in the end zone, find the end zone quite a bit more. Puka doing Puka things. Number 2 in the league. He's got 111 yards a game receiving, which is obviously phenomenal. He's on pace to get close to that 2,000-yard mark, which would be amazing. Um, here's the key stat about Puka, another guy, 0 touchdowns. He's got 6 big plays, meaning plays of over 20 yards or more, 0 touchdowns. So
Wow.
that's surprising.
Very.
I think this game comes down to the Indianapolis run game. JT continuing to do what he does. They're averaging 153 yards a game rushing. And LA's run defense, they're giving up over 100 yards a game rushing. So I think if Indy can pound the rock with JT, have Daniel Jones only do what he's been doing and make the plays when he needs to and not try to do too much, I agree with you. I think the Colts win this game. I'm going to go with a little lower score. I'm going to go with 24-20, but I'm also taking the Colts. So,
Ooh,
yep.
I
I
like it.
could be wrong, but I think the Colts continue their role. And I want to see the Rams lose another game.
Yeah, I mean, occasionally, I'll cite the stats. You're the stats guy. I'm the eye test guy, and I just think the Colts pass the eye test to me.
Oh, no, I
And
do. I agree
when
with
you
you.
combine your stats with my eye test, it just reaffirms my belief.
No, I agree with you. They passed the eye test for me too. I'm about 90% sold on Daniel Jones has turned it around. We'll see. If they win this game, they go to LA and they win this game, sold me. And then we may be talking about is Daniel Jones an MVP candidate?
He's got the numbers.
Or the question will be,
If
which one is the bigger MVP candidate, Jonathan Taylor or Daniel Jones?
Let me ask you this:
Yes.
if Lamar Jackson had this identical stats of Daniel Jones right now, and his team was undefeated, would anyone question if he was an MVP candidate?
No, because Lamar Jackson actually has better stats.
Yeah,
No, he does. He's got nine
he
touchdowns,
doesn't have a
zero
better win loss
interceptions.
record.
He does not, but he has 9 touchdowns, zero. We're about to jump into it, as a matter of fact. That leads us right into the battle to stay out of the cellar. Um, so let's start with this. We're going to talk about Baltimore, Kansas City. Both teams are 1-2. Baltimore's kind of shot themselves in the foot. Both games we talked about it Wednesday. Kansas City is trying to overcome a bunch of guys missing and injuries and things like that, right?
Right.
Um, I feel like Kansas City needs this game more because you look at their division and the Chargers are about to run away with that thing
They're running away with it.
If Kansas City loses this game, they're definitely going to run away with it.
Yeah.
Baltimore, when you look at their division, Cincinnati and Pittsburgh are at the top at 2-1. I feel even if Baltimore drops to 1-3, they could catch both of those teams. I don't think
Yeah.
Cincinnati's going to win very many more games, even though Browning, they have some faith in them. I don't have much faith in them, but we'll see. So let's talk about this one here. What are some of the things you expect, and what are you looking for? And then give us a prediction.
I I'm expecting Derrick Henry to come out and just lure the Chiefs in this game. He's
Okay.
he's he's so pissed at himself right now. I know he's ready to come out and make some noise. I mean, outside of that, the Chiefs and Ravens always play a pretty high octane back and forth game. One team might get up early, the other team will make a comeback, and they'll make it a game. I think the Ravens have the upper hand in the game just based on the health of their team and how complete their roster is. So I do expect them to win the game.
Okay,
But it's the Ravens Chiefs. These two quarterbacks, man. I mean, this game could go either way. It could go either way.
definitely good.
Now, but again, I think Derrick Henry's in for a hell of a game. I think he's ready
Okay,
to redeem himself and put the team on his back and make a nice run. I'm expecting a big game from King Henry today.
okay. Yeah, you got a prediction, or you want to hold off?
I'm gonna go 31-26.
Baltimore?
Yes, Ravens. I
All
have
right.
the Ravens.
All right. In the words of a famous man that just recently retired from ESPN, not so fast, my friend. All right. So I could be wrong, but I'm going to go with Kansas City in this game. I'll give you a score prediction when I'm done here. But to go back to what we were talking about with Daniel Jones, comparing him to Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson right now, again, 9 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Yeah, his passer rating is 141.8, which is ridiculous because the
Yeah.
highest you can get is 158.3. So he's playing lights out. I agree with you. I think Derrick Henry is going to come out as a man on a mission, and he needs to be. He has obviously 3 fumbles this year, 2 of them that he lost in key moments that basically turned both of those games. And if you want to say they lost the games, you can. Obviously, one play doesn't lose you a game, but those were key moments when those fumbles happened that turned the momentum of the game. So they're bigger moments than the other moments in the game. So I think he does come out on a mission. At the same time, though, Baltimore's defense is the worst defense in the NFL right now, stat wise. They are giving up the most yards of any team in the league, and they are number 31 in scoring defense. They're giving up 37 points a game.
Wow.
Kansas City, I will agree with you, and we talked about it. Their offense has not looked very good this year. However, they do get Xavier Worthy back this week, which should help out. Should hopefully give Mahomes, and for their sake, hopefully give Mahomes another option. We'll see how good a football shape he is in coming back from an injury. Um, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Kansas City based off the fact that I don't trust Baltimore's defense right now, which is surprising to say. Like
I
normally
know
you don't ever say that
that
about a
is
Baltimore
surprising.
defense, but they are statistically the worst defense in the NFL right now. So if you're ever going to get back on track on offense, the team to do it against is the team with the worst defense.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take Kansas City in a close game because, as you mentioned, they always play tough. I'm going to go a little lower scoring. I'm going to take Kansas City 26-24 in a nail biter.
All right.
So,
I like it.
but yeah, I was on board initially when I started looking. I just looked at it, I was like, oh, Baltimore's going to win this game. Started looking at the stats, and I was like, wait a minute. These dudes are giving up 400 and something yards a game and 37 points a game. And I know they played 2 tough teams. Obviously, the numbers are skewed a little bit. You played Buffalo one game, and you played Detroit another game, right? At the same time, though, again, Andy Reid, he he's the offensive mastermind. You got Mahomes, got Worthy coming back. I think it's a perfect storm for again a team that needs it more, Kansas City, to get back on track against a team that again they want to avoid 1-3, but I don't think they necessarily need it as much as Kansas City does to get in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Kansas City goes 1-3. We're talking about do they miss the playoffs altogether? I don't think that Baltimore hits that panic button yet if they drop to 1-3.
Yeah, because they still win their division.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, Chiefs are at home too, so I mean I can get on board with it. I just think the Ravens are gonna
Hey,
win. And I have a little bit of a bias too when I pick the Chiefs games.
I don't blame you. Um, all right, let's move on to another team that we may have some bias against. Uh, the Philadelphia Eagles, who escaped 3-0 last week after looking like the inferior team most of the day against the Rams. They woke up in the second half, scored three passing touchdowns, and ended up winning the game. Obviously, we all know what happened there. Tampa Bay also 3-0, another comeback win for them at the end of the game where they tried to give it away and ended up not giving it away, thankfully for them. So basically, this is the battle of number one in the NFC right now. I know the 49ers are 3-0 as well, but since these two teams are going to be playing each other, obviously, whoever wins this one will have the advantage. So, again, I'll turn it over to you first. What are you looking for in this game? What do you expect? Obviously, some key injuries happened to Tampa Bay last week that may impact our opinions, but I'll go ahead and let you take the floor.
Yeah, the injuries stands out for me because Mike Evans, I think if he was playing, I would give the edge to Tampa Bay in this one, but I'm not going to. I'm
Yeah.
gonna I'm gonna stick with the champs. I'm gonna give Philly the edge. I think their offense bounces back even more. Their passing game bounced back in a not a big way last week, but they bounced back. They had a pretty good game,
Yeah.
and compared to their first two games, and so I think they have more balance this week. Their whole offense clicks. They get something out of Saquon. They get something out of their receivers, and they just have a nice team win. Tampa Bay is going to be really hurting, I think, on offense with the loss of Mike Evans. I trust Egbuka. I'm a big Egbuka fan. I have him in multiple fantasy leagues, but I don't think now. See, Tampa's down Godwin and Evans,
Yeah.
so yeah, that's just tough for me to trust in that offense. Baker's made a tremendous strides in his career with Tampa, but Mike Evans is a big part of that.
Absolutely. Yeah, Mike Evans has been a big part of a lot of dudes' development. I agree.
I'm gonna go
Um,
Philly 24-21, just like the first
oh,
first game I picked.
okay. All right. All right.
I'll make that
Yeah,
score today.
I'm going to agree with you basically on everything on this one. I think that if Mike Evans was playing, I would pick Tampa Bay. I told you at the beginning of the season, I've talked to a bunch of people that have told me, I think you're crazy. I told everyone I think Tampa Bay is the sneaky contender this year. I think they're going to be
Yeah,
battling for the number one seed all year. Even if they do lose this game, I think they are still going to be right there in the mix. So um, Hurts semi got on track, like you said last week, in the second half with his three touchdowns. He's still, complete not they're not throwing the ball a ton, but he's still completing 71% of his passes. So he's sufficient when they do throw the ball. I think they're gonna have to throw the ball again in this game because Tampa Bay is going to be focused on Saquon. One thing again, and this is for a lot of guys, we talked about with Christian McCaffrey, and we'll talk about it again here in a little bit. Saquon has zero plays over 20 yards this year so far as well. And that's one of the things that we saw a lot of last year, especially like remember when they played the Rams. He broke off, I think it was two or three 60-yard runs against them. There was
yeah,
like every week we saw a highlight of him going 40, 50, 60 yards. And I know it's only week three, but we haven't seen any of those plays this year, which has been a big difference in their offense as well.
yeah.
Um, Obviously, AJ Brown, not off to the start. He's averaging four catches a game, 48 yards, and he's got the one touchdown from last week. So they need to get him more involved, of course. And then on the Tampa side, I I love that you called out Baker making strides. One of the things that was again the knock on him when he was in Cleveland is he would turn the ball over. He wouldn't find his receivers.
Yeah,
Baker's his completion percentage isn't as high as at 61%, but six touchdowns, zero turnovers as far as interceptions so far this year.
taking care of
Again,
the ball.
taking care of the ball. He's made those clutch drives at the end of each game to bring them back down and win the game. So, he's showing poise. He's showing maturity that he didn't necessarily have in Cleveland.
Yeah,
I, Egbuka, I agree with you. I like him. I trust him, but I don't think he's going to be enough without Mike Evans.
exactly.
Especially when you got Bucky Irving, who looked amazing last year, and I know he's splitting time, but he looked amazing last year. This year, he's got zero rushing touchdowns. He's only got one receiving touchdown. He's averaging 58 yards a game on the ground. So
Yeah,
not the jump that a lot of people expected from him going from his first year to his second year. So I'm going to agree with you. with Mike Evans out, I'm going to pick the Eagles begrudgingly. I even told Steve so when he texted me. I asked him how much confidence you got in your guys this week. He's all a lot, of course, he's all a lot, of course. And I said, yeah, if Evans was playing, I'd propose a bet, but I don't have that much confidence. So I'm going to go with a score slightly higher than yours, but the same margin. I think Tampa covers the spread, which is 3.5, but they lose the game 26-23. I got Philly.
Okay. Nice.
So hopefully a good game, even though Evans is out.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good game.
Yeah. All right. So let's jump over to our last game that we are going to talk about. And that's, of course, our San Francisco 49ers taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Um, Big game. Brock Purdy's coming back. So good news there. Obviously, not so good news. Nick Bosa is not going to be back for the rest of the season, unfortunately. Um, some other good news, and we need it. Demarcus Robinson is back from suspension. We'll see what kind of football shape he is in, what kind of impact he can make. And then, of course, Ricky Pearsall right now questionable going into tomorrow. So, of course, even bigger that Demarcus Robinson is back. So, again, I'll turn it over to you. What are you looking for in this game? What do you expect? And give us a prediction.
I'm looking for a Christian McCaffrey breakout game. That's what I want to see. I want to see just like with Saquon. When you go over and look at the Eagles' offense and Saquon's yards per carry, just like with CMC this year, they're both averaging under 4 yards per carry. Not like them. You haven't
Yep.
seen those explosive plays out of them. So that's what I want to see. This is the perfect team to do it against. The Jaguars' defense isn't great. They're middle of the pack, and you know,
They're not great. I agree with you there.
um,
They do have one strength, though. And unfortunately, it's their rushing defense.
well, we got to get on track.
Yes,
So
we do.
that's what I want to see.
Yeah.
As far as what I'm expecting to see, I'm expecting to see just like we've seen all year, 49ers offense is going to be airing it out a little bit more than normal. Um, that Brock Purdy Pearsall connection, I can't wait to see that again because week one it was clicking.
Yeah.
It was clicking. So I'd like to see that again. And then I really want to see how the defense does against the Jaguars without Bosa.
Yeah.
How much pressure we can get on the quarterback. I think during the game against the Cardinals, they were showing a stat after Bosa went out, and the pressure rate was like 70% or something like that with Bosa. And then
Yeah.
after he was out, it dropped down like 25%. So I want to make sure that they've game planned, obviously, for more pressure than 25% on the quarterback. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think they need to figure out a way to get pressure without Bosa, and it's been evident. And not, you don't even have to look at the stats. You can just watch the game, like we talked about earlier. The eye test tells you without Nick Bosa, it is a major drop off in the pressure that they get. One thing I did like, we talked about it Wednesday. We saw a little bit of Michael Williams in the second half after Bosa went out. He flashed a few times on the screen. I believe that they're going to have Huff starting in Bosa's spot. So he's looked pretty good now that he's
Yeah, he's
back
look good.
with Robert Saleh. So he understands the scheme. And again, we love Robert Saleh, and I think that if there's anyone that can figure out a way to not, you're not going to make up for Nick Bosa, but if there's a way, anybody that can figure out a way to cover some of the things up that Nick Bosa would cover up, it's going to be Robert Saleh. So I think we're
Yeah.
in good shape there. But again, I was mentioning Jacksonville's defense overall, they are in the middle of the pack. Unfortunately for us, their run defense is number 4 in the league. So I think that the key is going to be they got to get CMC some rushing room, some running room, and some rushing lanes early in the game
Right.
to open everything else up, right? Otherwise, Jacksonville's just going to stack the box on us and force Brock to throw, which I'm okay with because we have the number 1 passing offense in the league right now as far as yardage, and Jacksonville's passing defense isn't that great. So that's okay with me. I think when it comes to our offense and their defense, we'll be okay. What I really would love for us to do is focus on shutting down Etienne. So we talked about it earlier. You're predicting he's going to be a fantasy bust. I agree with you. I know earlier I said I hope that he is. No, I agree with you. I think that Robert Saleh understands that's the strength of Jacksonville's offense. Their passing offense is they're averaging 223 yards a game, but that's because they're playing from behind a lot. Also, Trevor Lawrence is only averaging 50, he's got 55% completions. He's got 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. So
Yep.
he doesn't look great. I had to scroll to find their number one receiver when you look at it compared to the rest of the league. Their number one receiver is ranked number 55 in the NFL.
Wow.
And that is Britton Strange. Britton Strange. He's got 13 catches and 137 yards on the year with 0 touchdowns.
And he's not even their receiver, he's their tight end.
Yeah, so I think if the 49ers focus on Etienne and we can force Trevor Lawrence to try and win the game, the 49ers are going to be in good shape.
Yep.
If we get off to a fast start, jump out by double digits, hopefully, force Jacksonville to throw the ball more, that's gonna put us in good shape, right? Because then the defenders can just pin their ears back and go after the quarterback, and that's how you get a lot of pressure on them as well, because they know the job is just have a meeting at the quarterback.
Yep.
So I think that's going to be the key to the game is just force Jacksonville to get into a passing mode and then just let those guys tee off. Even without Bosa, I think we can get some pressure that way. If that happens, 49ers are going to 4-0 and they're going
Yes,
into a
sir.
Thursday night game in LA against the Rams on a nice little winning streak. And I would love to see it. So
Yes, sir.
I don't have a lot of 49er stats to throw out there because they're all skewed because some guys have played one game, some guys have played three, some have played, however many. I can tell you this, we have the number
Yep.
7 offense overall in the league and the number 4 defense, number 5 passing defense. So I think that's another reason why we want to force them into a passing situation. Right now, that's been our strength. Our run defense
Right.
has been pretty good, like you mentioned, but our pass defense has been even better when you look at it compared to the rest of the league. So again, I think if we can just force them to do that, Niners come out on top. We're 4-0 going into our third division game against the Rams, and then we'll talk about that next week. So I'm going to give a score of San Francisco 26, Jacksonville 21.
26-21.
Yep.
I'm going to go 27-23
Okay. I like it. Either way,
for
49ers win. I don't care if it's 2-0, whatever. We'll take it.
that would be wild score. I'm going to go put a bet on that.
Oh, yeah, that'd be funny. All right, I got one last topic, and that is the pick 6 for 6.
Oh,
All right, I got 6 guys here that I think are going to be anytime touchdown scores this week. If you parlay all of these together, it is 76-1. I do have a $5 bonus bet that ESPN gave me. I appreciate it to win $382 here. And those 6 guys are Jordan Mason for the Minnesota
Minnesota.
Vikings, James Cook for the Buffalo Bills, Emeka Egbuka for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think Bijan Robinson gets in the end zone, gets back on track this week. But I also think Debo Samuel gets in the end zone this week, both in the same game. And then to wrap it up, I think Rome Odunze gets back in the end zone this week as well. Again, giving us 6 for 6. We hit all 6 of those.
Ooh,
My $5 will pay me $382. So
let's go. Good
let's
luck.
go. And with that, that's all we got. That's all I got.
That's all I got.
All right.
I like those bets.
One thing really quick, let's double check. For those of you haters that don't like Notre Dame, you will be happy to know we are losing 3-0 right now with 9 minutes left in the first quarter.
Dang it.
But we are at the Arkansas 15-yard line, about to score a touchdown. So
Nice.
suck it. And with that being said, we are out of here. We do appreciate everyone that took a moment to watch and listen to us talk some football. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and share with your friends. Tell your neighbors. Tell anybody you can to check us out. And don't forget, be kind. It's free unless you're talking to Cowboys fans. See ya.